because Edition Sling, we used you guys for email and retargeting there, but we also use you for SMS. And that was a first for us.
Yep.
Great pilot that we had great results that became steady state business as usual. But if you have different platforms for email, SMS, ads, which you just said, hey, we're going to get into ads, we're going to allow you to use your audiences more broadly.
Yeah.
If those things don't integrate and those things don't talk to each other, then all the value of what you're investing in the MarTech stack, all the value of capturing that customer data for then retargeting and use of prospecting, et cetera, goes out the window.
Yeah.
So can Wunderkind really play that role to help a company stitch it together?
Look, a lot of companies say that they can, right? We're talking about cross-channel orchestration, and nothing's worse than buying a pair of shoes and then the next day getting home and getting an ad for the same pair of shoes or an email from the company touting the same shoes you just bought, right? That's a bad experience. No brand wants to be, owning that bad experience. And where I think Wunderkind is different is if you think of us as a decisioning layer in your stack, right? You've got your ESP, you've got your text platform, you've got your Meta, let's say social messaging, WhatsApp, whatever, as many as you have. If you bring Wunderkind down below those, right? Now we can send signals that say, number one, you can let us decide. Because remember, what do? We have identity. 95% of your traffic is going to be anonymous. Even if they're loyal members, right? Maybe cookies been cleared, cached. Maybe they're not logged in if you're like a hotel or a travel airline. We're going to recognize that person and identify them in your first-party data. So already we're solving a problem of making somebody identifiable so that you can even message them. Let's not forget that. A lot of people who complain about cross-channel, their biggest problem is they can't even identify the traffic on their digital properties. So messaging them is like moot point. You can't message somebody you can't identify. You can certainly allow Meta or Alphabet to throw a cookie and do some retargeting. That gets expensive, and you still don't know who it is. So, but when you come to cross-channel, and with Wunderkind's identity, along with all the information we see about an individual, right? Jinx, we see you on all the websites you visit that Wunderkind has a relationship with. We see far more of your behavior, your click and browse behavior, than any client sees in their own domain. So we know more about the consumer than you do on your own as a brand. When you put that together, and then you let us be the decisioning layer below it, now we can suggest, at the least, hey, look, we know, for example, Tim buys on his iPad at night at 10 p.m. That's literally how I buy. I go to bed, I've worked all day, I don't browse, I'm busy. At night, that's when I'll purchase some things. Wunderkind knows that about me. So they know, and they know I like email. I'm 51 years old, I'm an email guy. So they know to send me an email and they know to send it later than usual, right? Outside of maybe traditional business rules for campaign sends. But it's that intelligence layer. So if you let Wunderkind say, hey, we're gonna send Tim an email, we identified him, you didn't, we know he's in your database, we got his email, we're going to send it at 10 p.m. via email. When you do that, we hit our numbers. We hit our guaranteed value that we sold you in the first place. Now, you can take those signals, you can still decide, well, thanks for the recommendation, we're going to send it as a text. Cool, that's on you, right? But when we have all this AI and all this data, behavioral data, 9 billion consumer devices, 1 billion opted-in consumers, we see 2 trillion click, browse, and purchase transactions per year, 2 trillion. We have more data than you.
Wow.
We're a better decisioning engine than you'll ever be. I say that brazenly, but I mean it because the results are there. So you should think of us as a decision engine so that you don't have to worry. Should it be an email or an ad? And if you have that decisioning engine underneath these channels and these delivery mechanisms, then lead with an email, follow up with an SMS, or vice versa, depending on the person. So I think humans, and myself, in my B2C days, we got wrapped up in, hey, we're going to send everyone an email on Monday. We're going to send some texts on Tuesday or Wednesday and see what happens. Humans shouldn't be making decisions anymore. There's so much data, and AI has come along, as we know, 700 million weekly users on ChatGPT alone. Everyone understands AI at a certain level. Let AI make the decision so that you don't have to manipulate linear, rigid journeys to decide who gets what, when, and where. That's a long-winded answer, but I think it bears that full context of rethinking your marketing stack, because most stacks, you either think about them as vertical next to each other or horizontal. You want Wunderkind underneath your messaging channel so we can give you better decisions.
I love that. Well, I love one of the big things that attracted me to Wunderkind back in the day was that audience, right? And the power of that audience, right? And so to take that power of that audience and then put a decisioning engine with it, I mean, that's where the money is.
I'm going to say this. Somebody about 14 years ago who started Wunderkind got very, very lucky. They built an identity network the right way that holds up to GDPR compliance. I mean, it's some of the biggest companies in the world are using it. That is our secret sauce. That is our core value. But now, with the advent of AI and all these new channels and APIs, man, it's limitless when you apply AI to all that data and understanding that we get on a yearly basis. We collect more data on consumers per year than most of our competitors have been collecting since they've been in existence. So think about that. 9 billion consumer devices, 2 trillion digital transactions per year observed. It's a lot of information.
That's a lot.
Let us make decisions on it.